Hello and welcome. It's Thursday and it's the 30th of March, and this is my last vlog of the month. Thank you for sending in all your questions and comments. They're much appreciated, and I'll get round to them all when I can. And please encourage others to send in their comments. It's much appreciated. And also to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Well, my last vlog, dog whistles, definitely generated, shall we say, a polarization. And some of the language used towards me personally was somewhat Anglo-Saxon. Water off a duck's back. Whack, whack. But I better not repeat them because I don't want to be censored. But it is good that people feel they can put pen to paper, or should I say fingers to keyboards, and issues can only be resolved when you communicate. Right, two contrasting comments regarding refugees. Angela from Bournemouth: I recently tried booking a Premier Inn hotel so I could visit my elderly mother and was quoted in excess of £500 for 2 nights. I feel very strongly this is linked to the government using hotels for refugees. Thank you, Angela. Now I shall balance that with a comment now from Darius, who is in Herne Bay. I own 2 hotels. The government's refugee scheme has helped me keep my hotels open. I had to negotiate fees down from the original, but all rooms are taken and I can keep all my staff on. Well, that's 2 contrasting views on the same subject. I must admit, I totally agree that excessive charges from hotels is appalling, and I don't think this has got anything to do with the refugees at all. I just think it's hotels taking advantage of the situation. I often use Premier Inns. I think they're very good. The facilities for me are perfect, and I find them value for money. So next we come to Gary Lineker, and people say to me all sorts of things. Most people agreed with what I said, but there was a large minority, who didn't agree. Sylvia from Gloucester says, celebrities and sports personalities should keep their noses out of politics. They don't have any grasp of the real world and are only interested in their own publicity. I couldn't disagree more, Sylvia. Whenever there's a major political situation, you'll find over the years that sports personalities and artists have had to stop going to events and are prevented working so the politics can try and sort a situation out. I mean, I feel terribly sorry for athletes in particular who work so very hard, and especially when it comes to something like the Olympics. For 4 years they're working hard to get to prime fitness, and the political situation comes along and says they can't go. And of course last year we had the situation where Russian tennis players weren't allowed to go to Wimbledon. So one thing that athletes and artists and anyone in the arts area have in common is that they travel a lot and they get to meet people, and I would argue that they probably have a more rounded view of the world than some of the politicians. I've had the privilege to travel extensively, and I've managed to actually view our Mother Earth from the clouds and see how beautiful it is, and that is why I have sort of created an interest more in helping the planet survive, and we need to protect her. I've also met some marvellous people from different parts of the world, contrasting views, and it's been interesting to try and establish why and how they think the way they do, and this has helped me hone my arguments when I'm talking about various subjects. And of course it's helped me to broaden my subjects, which I hope in turn has given me opportunity to answer the questions you ask. Excuse me. many fans. No, I was going to say many celebrities and sports personalities have a huge fan base and a huge following, and this is what upsets politicians. It's because so many people will get to hear their viewpoint, and in some cases, as in this case with Gary Lineker, he's only highlighting a situation that he finds personally aggressive. And he was accused, or shall I say, he was accused of using the Nazi word, but he never did. Other people put that interpretation to what he said. For me, Gary Lineker and Marcus Rashford, another footballer, very fine footballers, but they also support many charities and a humanitarian with a social conscience, as was then recently departed Paul O'Grady. Yes, we have a fan base. Yes, we are called upon to help highlight certain issues, and why not? All I can say is, if at some point my government or any other government is going to tell me I can't go to work, or I can't attend an event, or I shouldn't do this or I shouldn't do that, just to support their political failures, if that's the case, then I feel I have the right to speak up when I want to. Right, now, on to something completely different. Many years ago, my mother and I were in a shoe shop purchasing shoes, and then this lady came up to me and she said, do you have these trainers in size 7? And of course I said, well, I don't know, I don't work here. The next thing my mother and I found was that the security came up to us and ushered us out of the building. It's because it had been reported that we were impersonating shop assistants, which of course we weren't. And to confound the problem for us, we both burst out laughing because it was so ludicrous. Just yet another example of how you can get into trouble because of what other people think, not necessarily what they know. Well, thank you very much for listening again. And please be aware of politicians in particular trying to airbrush the true facts of what's going on. Well, until next time, toodle pip.